What do you think about when you hear the word Uganda? Poverty? Animals? Idi Amin?
Why do you ask me about Hitler?
Sure, all those things exist, but they aren't what shocked me the most in the country. In this video, we are going to explore the top 5 culture shocks you will get as an American when you visit Kampala, Uganda. Warning, this video contains uncensored truths that might be offensive to some viewers. Make sure to follow me on Instagram for behind the scenes content. When you visit Uganda from the United States, you will notice a big difference in the atmosphere and vibe of the society. Unlike Black American communities, which can often feel harsh and standoffish.
Fucking raining, man. Shit gonna fuck up my fucking leather, man.
Shit ain't leather, nigga.
Fuck you, who the fuck is you, fam? Yo, fam.
Uganda has a much more free and open vibe that puts you at ease. The biggest difference is in how the men interact with each other. The best example of this can be found in the northern part of the country, the Acholi region, where even bouncers will warmly greet and welcome other guys into the club instead of trying to intimidate them as they would in the US or other African countries. According to surveys, Uganda is ranked one of the most friendly countries for tourists, and it is quite easy to make friends and meet people who are glad to help you without asking for anything in return.
Yes, everyone, it's Clark Noir here. I just met with a fresh person from the States. We just linked from Upwork, right? Yeah, and today we're just going to tour around Kampala, Uganda. Any place he wants, I'll be getting him there, and we see the people there. We see anything he wants to shoot and build up his story.
And in the tourism industry, guides usually go above and beyond to ensure clients have the best possible experience. But I don't want to oversell it. In reality, Ugandans are not unique for their friendliness, they're unique for their love of foreigners, especially those who look physically different from them. Now, how are white people treated in Uganda?
Still like, they are still superior. Like they, in the way we were taught and brought up, like our minds were brainwashed. That's what I would say. Like we see a white person as someone superior. Like, of course not me, but still in me there is that element that I was taught from childhood, like that superiority.
So as a black tourist, you won't necessarily get the same 5-star treatment as someone from Europe or Asia. In Uganda, as long as you are black, you are just another local, and you will generally be treated as such. The truth is that no one really cares about your accent or where you are from until it is time to ask you for money. That's when you become a foreigner again.
Wonder what's going on with our leaders.
Oh my God. So you can't bring a nice car to a city like this, you'll mess it up. And when I see these people with Mercedes, and even the guy with the Ferrari, I'm like, bro.
The Ferrari, they have road regulations, because now like here it will just be brown.
You can't even pass a road like this. Uganda has by far the worst roads I've ever seen anywhere, and that includes movies, dreams, and my imagination. And this was quite a big culture shock, especially after visiting the countries of Nigeria and Rwanda, which are far ahead in this regard. Many of the country's highways are very narrow, with only one lane in either direction, forcing drivers into dangerous overtaking to pass the many slow buses and trucks clogging the passage. The edges of these tracks fade into gravel around the edges, and many have more craters than the far side of the moon. Uganda's potholes are often filled with gravel and dirt, so on dry days, expect the whole country to be enveloped in a cloud of rust-orange mist, which will coat your skin, eyes, and clothes. The most shocking thing about this is that it is the worst in Uganda's capital Kampala, where many of the city's most expensive neighborhoods look surprisingly run down. This is Bugalobi, where a plot of land can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars.
A plot of land can be like 1 billion.
1 billion.
1 billion Uganda shillings.
That's like 370,000.
Yeah. And it's a small plot. So these are the, like, if my father had land in this area, I would never have to hustle so much.
But to be fair, Uganda's infrastructure is not universally bad. In some places it is surprisingly developed. Check out Kampala Road, one of the most impressive boulevards in the country. This is a side of Uganda most people have never seen in the mainstream media, and when you walk here, you feel like you're in a developed country. The VIP neighborhood of Kololo is also planned very nicely. It is home to the country's top hangout spot, Acacia Mall. The craziest thing is that Uganda's smaller cities are even more beautiful and organized than its capital. Take a look at Mbarara in the southwest. Walking through these streets, you feel like you're in San Francisco. Gulu in the north is also beautiful. You can tell the people take a lot of pride and love for their city, even though they have a much smaller budget than Kampala. Many Americans have this misconception that Africa is a super traditional and sexually conservative place with strict courtship rules and everything figured out. But this couldn't be further from the truth, at least in the eastern and southern parts of the continent. In reality, the dating culture in East Africa is just as dysfunctional and messy as in the US. African men, in general, take simping to another level. They are taught that money can buy love, and when they see a pretty woman, they throw money at her in a desperate attempt to win her affection. Uganda in particular is a gold digger's paradise because the men are thirsty and transactional relationships are completely normalized in the culture.
You can't say you love somebody but not take care of them.
women from neighboring countries like Rwanda and Burundi often immigrate to Uganda with the hopes of catching a Ugandan guy with more money than sense. But interestingly, Ugandan women themselves don't seem to appreciate all the simping. If you ask them, they will say, blacks are too stingy. And if you dig a little bit deeper, you will hear the horror stories of experiencing cheating and heartbreak. Almost every East African woman I've spoken to has a crazy amount of baggage, and this goes for Uganda, Rwanda, and Kenya. In fact, by their early 20s, they typically have more baggage than a 30-year-old American, with many giving up on love entirely.
Should I say that I've passed through a lot? Let me say heartbreak.
Yeah.
I've been in so many relationships whereby I've been... it's hard to say because
I understand, yeah.
you may find yourself crying every time when you're dating. But I think I've given up on love.
But they aren't so innocent either. Many East African women have this myth that they're so much better and more honest than Americans, but this is baloney.
Some people in Rwanda, if you love someone, someone you love, you love, like you have one boyfriend, and then black American, they have many.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying in Rwanda women only have one boyfriend, but in America women have many boyfriends.
Yeah, of course.
But see, I think it's the opposite.
No.
If you're talking to a girl from this part of the world, just know she has at least 5 other boyfriends and a huge number of male besties, which are platonic friendships. This is part of the reason why it is difficult for them to keep schedules or answer their phones in a timely manner. They also don't take men very seriously and like to keep their options open. While American women fantasize about the alpha female lifestyle, African women actually live it. In Uganda, the problem is very extreme, with most men terrified to even look at their girlfriend's cell phone because of all the different relationships they know it contains.
Because the woman is approached by every man. So every man that comes, she will listen to what he's saying and see what he has to offer. So in case something fails out here, she already has another thing that will work out, or another thing, or another thing. So I can't say Ugandan women are faithful, but to money they can be, and in the long run it can be a big disappointment because she can settle for someone who doesn't even have a penny.
In the battle of the sexes, the ladies are winning by a landslide. According to locals, all this chaos ends after marriage, but personally I wouldn't risk it. If you're one of those guys who still believes the myth that everything is better in Africa, you are in for a rude awakening. When you visit Uganda, you might expect to see a small, less developed country. But while its landmass might look tiny compared to its neighbors, its economy tells a different story. When you walk through the streets of Kampala, you'll be stunned by the sheer volume of people and the scale of economic activity. Every corner is an opportunity to do business. People are buying and selling, and the crowds are so massive that it looks like something you would see in Bangladesh or India. All this commerce continues late into the night, and you really get the sense that the city of Kampala never sleeps. Wealth is everywhere. The hills of Kampala are dotted with mansions, villas, and luxury apartments. And don't think that just because you're a foreigner that you're richer than the local people. While most Americans live paycheck to paycheck with big ticket items purchased on credit, wealthy Ugandans buy their houses, cars, and land with cash. And when it comes to classiness, Kampala has it covered. The city's socialites like to hang out in Kololo, where they play golf, enjoy the best restaurants, and listen to live performances at night from Uganda's hottest artists. Uganda is unique because it sits at the crossroads between two very influential linguistic groups, the Bantu in the south and the Nilotic in the north. This creates a unique level of diversity in the country, both in the people and their culture. The vibe of Uganda changes dramatically depending on where you go, and if you explore deep enough, you will find some very special places. The central part of the country is the most developed. This is where you find the major cities like Kampala, Entebbe, and Jinja. And it is home to the Baganda people Uganda is named after. For the most part, the Baganda are a city-dwelling culture who manage small farms. But as their territory is near Lake Victoria, they also have a pretty big maritime and fishing tradition centered around the lake's many islands. This is one of the few places in Africa where people use wood to make their houses. Yeah, it really does.
I don't know whether it needs another special day or what. We are running out of time.
And money.
Yeah, and even money also. Oh, so it's so small, it ends up.
Fishermen in Uganda can earn up to $50 a day, which is quite a huge sum in the country.
This type of fish is like a woman. It undergoes, it goes into menstruation, it goes into periods, and it also what breasts. Have you seen them? This one.
Those are breasts.
Yeah. These ones.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They're known to blow their cash on women and booze, partying every night of the week. In the western part of Uganda, life is a little more laid back. Here, the local Ankole people raise their longhorn cattle on vast expanses of arable land. This region produces most of Uganda's food. So you save this pure one for breeding? Okay. Many of the farmers generate income by selling meat, milk, and matoke, a starchy banana that is a staple food in Uganda. How many acres is the farm? Yeah. 50 acres. Adventurous tourists should travel north to Karamoja to visit a people living much as their ancestors did 1,000 years ago. Herding, polygamy, and cattle rustling are the order of the day. The only difference is that they wear clothes now and use guns instead of bows and arrows. Over the coming videos, we will explore all these places and more. Thanks for watching, and if you want more content like this, be sure to subscribe to my channel.
Roy.